I have 4 studies here, the first of which on NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide. The efficacy and safety of beta nicotinamide mononucleotide, NMN, supplementation on healthy middle-aged adults, a randomized, multi-center, double-blind, placebo-controlled, parallel group, dose-dependent trial. That's like the most governmental, we're trying hard to make this sound legit title of a research article I've ever seen in 20 years of looking at research. All right, what did they find? This is a 2022 article. The findings were mostly quoting other studies, even though it doesn't say that it's a review. It says it's a study on that fancy stuff. Their own randomized, multi-center, double-blind, placebo-controlled, parallel group dose-dependent trial. I've never heard all those terms used in the same sentence in the title of a research study. Some of that's implied, and they're saying it over and over to make it sound amazing to people who don't, I guess, have the technical jargon background training to see through that garbage. What did they find? 300, 600, 900 milligrams a day of NMN. And they gave it to these healthy aging subjects who were in their 40s, pretty much. And they found no change after 12 weeks, by the way, in any of the groups, 300, 600, or 900 milligrams, in LDL, total cholesterol, triglycerides. There was no effect or change on blood test metabolic parameters, quote unquote. That basically means anything in the blood, A1C for blood sugar, glucose, inflammatory markers, all these things, no change. So they also found, amazingly, NMN, which is metabolized into NAD, which is the whole reason behind the research, because NAD plus technically is a positive charge. NAD is what drives cellular machinery, kind of like along with ATP and a bunch of other things. But the technical part of it isn't that important if you know that much. NAD is kind of like a buddy of ATP. It works in biochemistry to help the cells do their job, basically. And you have less of it as you age. So they're finding out that NMN, in the hopes that it raises NAD plus, doesn't do so that well. It does elevate metabolites in the blood, according to this study, of NAD plus. So after 12 weeks, at 300, 600, 900 milligrams, each group of people had an elevated level of metabolites of NAD plus. Yeah. So what? If I take a little more vitamin C, I'm going to have elevated levels of vitamin C. And it's going to do a lot more for me than this supplement did for these people, which was nothing. They quote another study in the same study, 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams now, much higher than before, twice the dose. They found after 12 weeks, no increased strength. I don't know what kind of training they did. They don't really mention. But they had no mention of any data concerning anything that had to do with blood. And they basically said there was no change in body composition or muscle gain. And they said there was a mild, statistically aerobic gain in both groups, 1,000 and the 2,000 milligram, but they don't say how. They failed to say how they measured it. They didn't say like the VO2 went up this much, or, mitochondrial respiration at rest went up this much, or whatever it was. The second study, no effects on changes in anything again, sensory, vascular, or cognitive function. Sensory, vascular, or cognitive function. And they're promoting this as a heart cardiovascular reduction risk longevity supplement. Especially, Dr. Sinclair from Harvard. But it raises NAD plus in the blood. It raises NAD plus metabolites indefinitely in the blood. It's linearly related to the dose. So the more you take, the more it raises NAD plus in your blood. The more NMN you take, the more NAD plus is elevated in the blood. But not always, because some of these other studies say that when they give NMN, especially in those lower doses, in the 100 milligrams, like the lower hundreds, not towards 1,000, they all say that they don't even know where it goes, basically. They say it raises the metabolites of NAD plus, but not NAD plus itself is undetectable as far as a raise in the blood level of NAD plus, which is the whole premise of how NMN is supposed to work, because it converts to NAD plus in the cells. So, second study, insight into the application of nicotinamide mononucleotide to age-related disorders. Age-related disorders, 2023 study. This should be a big deal, right? No effects on any metabolic parameters. No effects on muscle strength change. No changes in HDL, A1C, or exercise capacity. Study number 3. Therapeutic potential of NAD plus precursors and age-related diseases. Okay, so that's more of like a review title, but they quote other studies. That's a 2022 article. 100 to 1,000 milligrams of NMN a day in various groups. And the conclusion is NMN at 100 to 1,000 milligrams a day is safe. They don't use the word effective. It's safe. It's safe for humans. So they just proved that something's not poison, and now everybody's trying to sell it on their fitness site. No one actually looks at these studies. I mean, David Sinclair's a wizard, no doubt. No one can hang with him, including myself. Not even close. But, guys, he's trying to do something that in mice is amazing. He can restore sight. I mean, he can make a 90-year-old mouse equivalent back to a 2-year-old. He can do all kinds of stuff with mice. He's a magician with mice. But mice are not men, guys. Mice are not women. Mice are not humans. Those are reaching extrapolations of studies right there. So I appreciate what he's trying to do, but it's not happening yet. And yet this stuff is just touted as the end all be all of like rejuvenating humankind. And it's garbage. It's garbage everyone's selling us. Number 3. Okay. Safe for ingestion. After 12 weeks, again, 12 weeks, 3 months seems to be the study length of all these things. Let's see. It says no mention of anything other than dose-dependent blood level increases of NMN on NAD+. So like I said before, the more NMN you take, the more NAD+ goes up. But that's every supplement, guys. It's a linear relationship. Okay, let's see. What else is there? Okay, study number 4. Let's go on to the last one. The last one is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide metabolism and arterial stiffness. So NAD after long-term nicotinamide mononucleotide supplementation. So just to translate, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, that's NAD+. Metabolism, that's the whole cascade. That's what NMN is supposed to be promoting greater production of, literally production as a product at the end of the biochemical deal in the cell. NMN goes in, NAD+ goes up in the cell eventually through a lot of complex enzyme conversions. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide metabolism and arterial stiffness after long-term nicotinamide mononucleotide supplementation. So long-term NMN intake, a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial. Now that's how you list like a legit title, not like that first one. 2023 study. That sounds legit. I was excited actually. I was hopeful. 125 milligrams of NMN twice a day, so 250 milligram total of ingested NMN per day. And after 12 weeks, they say NMN supplementation is safe for human consumption for 12 weeks. No change in any parameters. Hematology, that's all things blood, guys. Chemistry, that's even more definitive of all things blood when it comes to blood chemistry. Is like the various things you look at in blood. Like the whole point that you would look at blood, like A1C, like CRP, with inflammatory markers, glucose levels, all this stuff. But they actually state specifically hormones. Over 12 weeks, no change in hematology, chemistry, or hormones. Conclusion, NMN is safe to take for 12 weeks. Why? What's the big deal here? What is the big deal?